Africa's Nile crocodile is a master of silence and speed, capable of erupting from stillness faster than the blink of an eye. The lioness hears nothing, only a splash too late. One cub disappears beneath the surface, before the mother even turns. The water closes like a trapdoor. In a heartbeat, applause fades into a dreadful hush. Shock stills the pride. The remaining lionesses retreat, circling the surviving cubs. Tiny bodies tremble, pressing into their mothers for warmth, comfort, understanding. One life is lost, many are spared. They climb the muddy bank, dripping and dazed, eyes wide, fixed on some unseen point in the distance. For the cubs, this will become their first true memory of fear. For the mothers, it is one more scar in a long war for survival. On the far shore, the crocodile vanishes into shadow, a silent guardian of the river's price. The savannah stretches quiet behind them, but it is an illusion. Here, nothing is truly still. Here, every crossing is a bet against death. Beneath the river's silken skin, danger waits. The crocodiles lie like living driftwood, their forms barely visible beneath the surface, just ridgebacks betraying the armor below. Some drift, slow and watchful. Others feast. Near the fringe of the water, several tear through the swollen carcass of a drowned hippo. Flesh parts in long pale ribbons as jaws clamp and twist. A mist of blood trails downstream, calling to the others. Further off, hungry eyes and hollow bellies drift silently, drawn not to the dead but to the living. On the opposite shore, the rest of the pride paces restlessly. Lionesses call across the roar of the river, their voices thin, almost lost in the wind. Cubs mewl in response. The bond holds, but the divide remains. For the lionesses left behind, the river is no longer a question. It is necessity. Their journey cannot wait. The predators below feel it too. The water whispers. The crossing has begun, and the river is ready. Three lionesses step forward, those unburdened by cubs. Their shoulders lower, muscles coiled, tails held stiff with tension. Each step is deliberate, pressing ripples into the deceptively calm water. Beneath the surface, something stirs. The river is not empty, it never is. Each footfall sends vibrations through the current, and unseen watchers answer with a pulse, a shift, a flicker of shadow. The lionesses know this feeling well. The air is thick with the scent of mud and danger. Then, a sudden swirl brushes the foreleg of the led female. In an instant, instinct explodes into action. She surges forward, a blur of muscle and water, slicing through the current. The others follow, churning spray in their wake. Behind them, the river twists with movement, but no jaws close. With heaving sides and gouged earth beneath their paws, they scramble up the far bank. Safe for now. But behind them, the cubs and their mothers still stand trapped on the other side, staring across the current, their fate unwritten. The mothers remain in the shallows, water lapping at their legs, eyes fixed on the far shore where safety waits. Their fur still carries the scent of fear, of loss. The memory of the taken cub clings like mist, sharp, heavy, unshakable. Behind them, the surviving cubs crowd together, unsure, unwilling to move closer. They are too young to understand fully, but not too young to feel. Trauma lives in them as a silent tremor. For these lionesses, the river is no longer a passage. It is a predator with no face and many teeth. They advance a few paces, scanning the water. Each ripple could be a memory or a monster. A low growl thrums from their throats, not as a threat, but a warning to their young. Stay close, do not follow too far. The current murmurs its secrets. The mothers listen with every muscle. They know what waits below, and they know that hesitation could cost them everything. A sudden splash far downstream sends a jolt through the group. The mothers freeze, ears swiveling, muscles taut. Even the cubs fall still, their small bodies sensing what their mothers already know that water remembers. The place where their sibling vanished still reeks of it. That sharp, metallic scent of river silt mixed with something more primal fear. The lionesses scan the surface again, every swirl a possible echo of that fatal strike. The cubs inch closer to the edge, drawn by instinct, repelled by memory. One slips on the wet clay but catches itself, paws trembling. Their eyes mirror confusion, but also something older, something inherited. The lionesses emit low, rhythmic growls. Not commands, but calls stay behind, stay alive. In their minds plays the image, the swirl, the flash of scales, the silence that followed. They are young enough to be afraid, but old enough to remember. Every shadow in the water now has a name. Just as the lionesses begin to edge forward again, a new disturbance shifts the balance, not from the river, but from the reeds. Massive shapes rise among the grasses. Hippos, their gray backs slick with water, eyes barely above the surface. These are no passive observers. Territorial and unpredictable, they rule these shallows with blunt force. A single swing of a tusk could crush bone. The lionesses halt, forming a protective line. A misstep here could draw the wrath of giants. The cubs sense the shift. One takes a cautious step too close to the edge. Its mother blocks it with her body, a silent correction. Even the bank is no longer safe. On land and in water, danger presses in from all sides. The lionesses must now weigh risk against risk. Crocodiles below, hippos ahead, cubs behind. There is no path untouched by peril. But going back is no longer an option. Forward is the only direction survival permits. Time slows as the lionesses hesitate, caught in the tension between instinct and impossibility. The river is alive, breathing through ripples and murky swells. Behind them, the cubs fidget, sensing their mother's unease. A decision must be made, but it is not made with logic. It is made with the weight of lineage, with the pull of duty. The lionesses glance at each other, eyes locking in silent consensus. There is no safe side, only the one they haven't yet crossed. A low rumble of growls hums through the pride. The cubs respond, inching closer, trembling but trusting. Each lioness knows the weight of what she carries, not just the cub beside her, but the survival of generations etched in bone and blood. Their bodies press forward, muscles wound like springs. The river waits, patient and ancient. Every crossing here is a gamble, but the pride does not walk alone. They walk together, or not at all. Then, from the tree line, shapes emerge, sisters, daughters, aunts returning from the hunt. Silent and powerful, their presence shifts the balance like wind tipping a scale. More eyes to scan the surface, more claws to stand their ground. The crocodiles sense it too. Even predators pause when unity approaches. The pride regathers, forming a living wall at the river's edge. The cubs, still damp with fear, shuffle back from the shallows, their trembling paws caked in mud. Lionesses nuzzle them briefly, reassuring them with touch, with scent. The pride is one again, stronger now, reinforced by numbers. The air vibrates with held breath, with the friction of tension against instinct. The water murmurs, but its menace falters. A semicircle of lionesses stands unmoving, a barrier between danger and innocence. In this stillness, the tide of risk shifts slightly. Not enough to guarantee survival. One by one, the lionesses step into the river, this time not alone. Flanks touch. Cubs are cradled between bodies. Each movement is synchronized, deliberate, like muscle memory etched in survival. The current grips at their legs, cold and swift, but the pride holds its form. A single living unit bound by blood and urgency. Around them, crocodiles drift nearer, silent missiles beneath the surface, drawn by scent and movement. But the wall of snarling lionesses, their teeth bared and eyes blazing, halts the advance. It is not stealth that protects them now, it is unity. The cubs cling tight, wide-eyed and silent, shielded by their mothers' bodies. Water rises to their bellies. Each step is a prayer pressed into the mud. And though the river watches with ancient eyes, it does not strike. Not yet. The pride advances. One body, one breath, one will to survive. For now, their courage holds. With a final push, soaked paws scramble onto the opposite bank. Lionesses haul themselves up first, then turn, urging the cubs forward with soft grunts and flicks of their tails. One by one, the young emerge dripping, shivering, but alive. Relief ripples through the pride like wind across tall grass. But then, a pause. One cub is missing. Still on the far side, it stands frozen at the edge, ears flat, eyes locked on its mother. She calls out, a low, throaty sound, neither plea nor command, but something between heartbeat and hope. The cub does not move. Time stretches, cruel and slow. The crocodiles sense the hesitation. Nostrils break the surface, drifting closer. The mother growls again, more urgent. Every muscle in her body is braced to leap, but she knows one wrong move could mean death for both. The cub stands at the threshold between courage and fear, between survival and memory. The cub takes a breath, barely more than a tremble, and steps into the water. Its paws sink instantly into the cold, pulling clay. Each stride is hesitant, frantic, but driven by instinct, the same instinct that pulled its ancestors across rivers, plains, fire. The current tugs, hungry and indifferent. Behind, its mother paces the bank, her eyes never leaving her cub. Around the small body, the river stirs. A ripple, a swell. A dark shadow slides beneath the surface, silent, deliberate. The crocodile glides closer, tail sweeping side to side, jaws widening. The cub pushes forward, driven by the rhythm of its mother's call, the vibration of life waiting on the far bank. The water deepens, lifts the cub slightly. It paddles now, mouth open with effort. And still, the predator draws near. The seconds stretch, and in that space between breath and bite, the cub makes its choice to run, not from fear, but toward hope. The water splits behind the cub, a silent wake trailing its frantic limbs. The crocodile vanishes into the murk, a missile of instinct and hunger. On the shore, its mother crouches low, muscles trembling with restraint. Her eyes burn into the water, trying to will the distance closed. The cub surges forward, fur plastered to its sides, each stroke defying the current, then movement. A blur beneath the surface, sweeping closer. The predator is nearly there, but the cub, guided not by strength, but by something older desperation. Bloodline, love summons a final burst of speed. Its paw touches earth. Another step, and it crashes forward, scrambling up the bank in a spray of mud and river foam. The crocodile breaches just behind, jaws snapping on empty air. The cub collapses at its mother's feet, gasping, slick with mud, but safe. She nuzzles it, rough tongue sweeping away the river's scent. The crossing is complete, but the memory will never wash off. The pride gathers around the exhausted cub, their bodies forming a warm, protective wall. For a moment, nothing moves but breath shallow, rapid, real. The mother lies beside her young one, their flanks rising and falling in unison. Around them, the savanna stretches golden and endless, bathed in the amber hush of late afternoon. They have crossed more than a river. They have crossed into something ancient, the space where fear births courage, where instinct meets love. The cub's eyes, still wide, begin to soften under its mother's grooming tongue. The others lie nearby, still panting, eyes scanning the horizon. There is no celebration, only relief, a quiet acknowledgement that they've cheated death today. But the river will always wait. Its silence is not peace, but patience. The lesson lingers in every heartbeat. That survival is not a guarantee, but a triumph earned again and again. As the sun begins to sink, the lionesses settle into watchful rest. Their bodies, still damp with river silt, lie curled around the cubs who now sleep, twitching in dreams shaped by water and fear. But the older lionesses remain upright a while longer, eyes sharp, ears flicking at every sound. Hunger gnaws at them, but duty holds them still. They are not just hunters, they are shields, teachers, keepers of the pride's future. One grooms a cub that isn't her own. Another presses close to a sister, sharing warmth and breath. This is the strength of lions, not stealth or claws alone, but kinship. Here, aunts raise nephews. Sisters nurse one another's young. Males roam at the edges, but the heart of the pride lies here in the bond of the mothers. The cubs may never remember the exact crossing, but they will carry the lesson written in touch and presence. You do not survive alone, not in this place. The savanna stills, but only on the surface. Crocodiles drift downstream in the fading light, seeking another opportunity. Hippos grunt in the distance, sending ripples across the shadows. A breeze stirs the reeds, brushing against fur and memory. Around the pride, quiet reigns for now. Some lionesses roll onto their sides, paws curled, mock fighting in the dust, their claws tracing the earth like old maps of conflict and play. The cubs stir, reassured by warmth, by scent, by presence. The rhythm of nature does not pause. Predator and prey remain locked in a circle older than any pride. But in this moment, they are safe. In this breath, they have endured. The river has taken, but it has also spared. And the pride, scarred but whole, will rise again when dawn breaks. For here, in the heart of wild Africa, life is written not in certainty but in courage, instinct, and the strength to face the crossing again.